I need to tell you about the worst Christmas of my life. And considering what happened to me last year, that's really saying something. If you know my story, you know about Jason. You know about the dare. You know about how he spent an entire year pretending to love me just to win $30,000 and humiliate me in front of a live audience. You know about how I found out hours before it happened and flipped the script on him. What I didn't tell you, what I couldn't tell you at the time, was what came after. After that night at the podcast, I went home and I fell apart. Completely. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't work. I would just sit in my apartment and replay every moment of our relationship, trying to figure out which parts were real and which parts were performance. Spoiler alert, none of it was real. I stopped answering my phone. I stopped checking social media. I stopped going outside unless I absolutely had to. I was terrified that everyone was laughing at me, that I'd become this viral story. The fat girl who got tricked, the punchline that just kept giving. But there was one person I let in, one person who I trusted completely, one person who had been there for me through everything. Emma. Emma has been my best friend since college. We met in a design class and just clicked immediately. She was everything I wasn't. Gorgeous, thin, confident, the kind of woman who walks into a room and everyone notices, the kind of woman who's never been made to feel like she's taking up too much space. But she was never mean about it. She never made me feel less than. When other girls would make comments about my weight, Emma would shut them down. When guys would hit on her at bars and ignore me, she'd call them out. She was my person. My sister. The one who knew all my secrets and all my fears and loved me anyway. Or so I thought. After the Jason thing happened, Emma was there every single day. She'd come over with food I wouldn't eat. She'd put on stupid movies to distract me. She'd let me cry on her shoulder for hours. She'd trash talk Jason, calling him every name in the book. She'd tell me I was better off, that he was pathetic, that I dodged a bullet. She saved my life. Honestly, I don't know what I would have done without her. There were some really dark days where I didn't want to be here anymore, where I thought maybe everyone would be better off if I just disappeared. But Emma wouldn't let me go there. She'd stay on the phone with me until I fell asleep. She'd text me every morning to make sure I woke up. So when she told me we were going to have the best Christmas ever, I believed her. It was going to be small, intimate. Just Emma, me, and a few of our mutual friends at her place. Nothing crazy, just good food, good wine, and good company. She said it would be healing. A way to reclaim the holiday season and make new, better memories. I was nervous about it. I hadn't really socialized since everything happened. I'd been hiding. But Emma promised it would be safe. She said everyone there loved me and supported me. She said it would be good for me to get out of my head and remember that I had people who cared about me. So I said yes. I spent a week preparing. I wanted to show everyone that I was okay, that I was healing. I bought a new dress, did my hair, even put on makeup, which I hadn't bothered with in months. I wanted to look like I was moving forward, even if I didn't quite feel like it yet. I also spent a lot of money on Emma's gift. She had been asking about this designer bag for months. It was way out of my budget, especially since I'd barely been working, but I saved up. I put things on credit cards, because I wanted to show her how much her support meant to me. How grateful I was that she'd stuck by me when I was at my absolute lowest. Christmas Eve came. I drove to Emma's house with butterflies in my stomach. Good butterflies for once. I was actually excited. I felt like maybe I was going to be okay. Maybe this was the turning point. Emma's place looked like something out of a magazine. She'd gone all out. Twinkle lights everywhere. A huge tree in the corner covered in ornaments. A fire crackling in the fireplace. Christmas music playing softly in the background. It was perfect. It felt safe. It felt like home. Everyone was already there when I arrived. Sarah and Matt, a couple we'd both known since college. David, another designer friend. Jen, Emma's co-worker. Everyone hugged me. Everyone told me how good I looked. Everyone seemed genuinely happy to see me. I started to relax. We ate. We drank wine. We laughed. For the first time in months, I felt normal. I felt like maybe I could do this. Maybe I could move past what Jason did and rebuild my life. Then it was time for gifts. Emma insisted we do a full gift exchange. Everyone had brought something. We went around the circle, opening presents one by one. Sarah got some fancy candles. Matt got a new book he'd been wanting. David got a bottle of expensive scotch. Everyone seemed thrilled with their gifts. Then it was my turn. Emma handed me a big box wrapped in shiny red paper with a huge bow on top. She was grinning ear to ear, practically bouncing with excitement. She said, I saw this and just knew it was perfect for you. It's totally us. I can't wait for you to see it. I remember feeling this rush of warmth, this feeling of being seen, being understood, having a friend who got me so completely that she could find the perfect gift. I tore off the wrapping paper, opened the box, and pulled out a t-shirt, a pink t-shirt with a realistic smiling pig on it, wearing a Santa hat. The room went silent. I stared at it. I turned it over, thinking maybe there was something else. Maybe this was a joke gift, and the real present was underneath. But there was nothing else, just the pig shirt. I looked up at Emma. I was waiting for her to say something, to explain, to tell me this was a mistake, or a prank, or something, but she just stood there, smiling, waiting. I tried to smile back. I tried to laugh it off, but I couldn't. My face just froze, and I felt this horrible, familiar feeling rising up in my chest. The same feeling I'd had when I read Jason's messages. That feeling of the floor dropping out from under you. And then Emma started laughing. Not a small laugh. Not an awkward giggle. A full, loud laugh. She said, "Oh my God, Chloe, look at your face. It's hilarious. It's a joke because of, the ham at Christmas dinner and how much you love eating. Come on, lighten up. It's funny." A few people in the room did that thing where they laugh because they don't know what else to do. That uncomfortable, please, let this tension end, laugh. But most people just stared. I felt tears starting to form. I tried so hard to hold them back. I didn't want to cry. Not again. Not in front of everyone. Not on Christmas. But I was holding a shirt with a pig on it. A pig. Given to me by my best friend. The person who was supposed to protect me. The person who knew better than anyone how much I'd been hurt. How much I'd been mocked for my weight. How much damage Jason had done. And she was laughing. I stood up. I mumbled something about needing to use the bathroom. I still had the shirt in my hands. I couldn't seem to let go of it. I made it to Emma's bathroom and locked the door. And then I broke down. Completely. I sat on the floor and sobbed into that stupid pig shirt and tried to understand what just happened. Why would she do this? Why would Emma, of all people, do this to me? And then there was a knock on the door. It was Emma. She didn't sound concerned. She sounded annoyed. She said, "Chloe, open the door. You're being dramatic. Everyone's asking if you're okay, and you're making this so awkward." I opened the door because I didn't know what else to do. She came in and closed the door behind her. And then she really let me have it. She said I was being ridiculous, that it was just a joke, an inside joke between friends, that I was too sensitive, that I always took everything too seriously, that I needed to learn to laugh at myself. And then she said something that made my blood run cold. She said, "This is why Jason left you, you know. You can't take a joke. You're so wrapped up in your own feelings that you can't see when people are just trying to have fun. Everything has to be so serious with you. It's exhausting." I apologized. Can you believe that? I apologized to her. I told her she was right, that I was being too sensitive, that I should be able to laugh at myself, that I'd try to do better, because that's what a year with Jason had taught me, that I was the problem, that I was too much, that I should be grateful anyone wanted to spend time with me at all. Emma accepted my apology like it was her due. She told me to wash my face and come back out and act normal. So I did. I went back out there. I sat back down. I pretended everything was fine. I even made a joke about how I'd wear the pig shirt to bed or something. Everyone laughed with relief and moved on. But I noticed things after that. Little things. David kept glancing at Emma with this look, like he was seeing her differently. Sarah pulled me aside later and asked if I was really okay. I said I was fine. Because that's what you say. That's what people want to hear. I left early. I couldn't stay. I made up some excuse about having to work the next day or feed my cat or something. I don't even remember what I said. As I was getting my coat, I noticed something on Emma's coat rack. A men's coat. A nice one. Expensive looking. Navy blue with leather trim. I picked it up without thinking, moving it to get to mine underneath. And I smelled it. Santal 33. That's a very specific cologne. An expensive one. The kind that's distinctive enough that once you smell it, you recognize it immediately. It was Jason's cologne. His signature scent. I'd bought it for him for his birthday 2 years ago. I knew that smell better than anything. My brain tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was David's coat. Maybe lots of guys wear Santal 33. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe the trauma from Jason was making me see connections that weren't there. I put the coat back, got mine, said goodbye, drove home, but I couldn't shake it. Christmas Day was horrible. I spent it alone in my apartment, staring at that pig shirt. I kept picking it up and putting it down, looking at it from different angles, like maybe I'd misunderstood, like maybe there was some way this was actually thoughtful and I was just too damaged to see it. I did what everyone does when they're spiraling. I got on Instagram. I looked at Emma's stories from the night before. There were tons of them. Videos of everyone laughing. Photos of the tree. Boomerangs of wine glasses clinking. And then I saw it. In one of the videos, Emma was making a toast. She was facing the camera, holding up her champagne glass, saying something about friendship and love and the holiday season. Very heartfelt. Very Emma. But in the window behind her, there was a reflection. Dark, but visible if you looked closely. The silhouette of whoever was filming. A man. Tall. Wearing something that caught the light just right. A watch. A gold watch. I zoomed in as far as Instagram would let me. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone. I knew that watch. I'd saved up for months to buy it. A gold Rolex. Jason had wanted one forever, and I'd surprised him with it for our 6-month anniversary. He'd been so happy. He'd kissed me and told me I was too good for him. At least he got that part right. I sat there on my couch, staring at that frozen video frame, and my brain started connecting dots I didn't want to connect. The coat, the cologne, the watch, the reflection. Jason had been at Emma's house on Christmas Eve. While I was there, probably in her bedroom or her office or somewhere he wouldn't be seen, close enough to film her making a toast. But why? Why would Jason be at Emma's house? They didn't even like each other. At least, that's what she'd always told me. She'd said he gave her bad vibes even before the Dare thing came out. She'd said she never trusted him. I spent the rest of Christmas Day in a fog. I couldn't eat. I couldn't think straight. I kept picking up my phone to call Emma and confront her, but I didn't know what to say. What if I was wrong? What if there was some innocent explanation? But the more I thought about it, the less innocent it seemed. And then I remembered something. When Jason and I had first started dating, he'd had this iPad. He used it for work stuff mostly. He'd left it at my place a few times. And when we broke up, when I'd kicked him out after everything, I realized later that he'd never taken the iPad. I'd shoved it in a drawer and forgotten about it. I hadn't wanted to see it. Hadn't wanted to be reminded of him. It had been there for months, untouched. I dug through my closet until I found it. The battery was dead. I charged it, my heart pounding the whole time. I didn't even know what I was looking for. I just knew I needed to look. When it powered on, it synced automatically. Jason had never logged out of his iCloud account. Everything was still there. His messages, his photos, everything. I opened his photo library with shaking hands. The first thing I saw was a photo from 3 days ago. Emma, in her kitchen, wearing one of Jason's shirts, laughing at something off camera. I scrolled back further. More photos of Emma. Dozens of them. Some recent, some from months ago, some from during my relationship with Jason. Photos of them together. His arm around her kissing his cheek, them in bed together. Photos dated from 2 years ago, from a year ago, from 6 months ago, from last week. I thought I was going to throw up. I kept scrolling. I found screenshots of text conversations, messages between Jason and Emma. And then I found the conversation from 3 days before Christmas. Jason had sent a link to a website selling t-shirts, custom printed t-shirts. The link showed a pink shirt with a pig wearing a Santa hat. His message said, "Get her this for Christmas. She'll cry in front of everyone. It'll be hilarious." Emma's response, "Oh my God, yes. Already ordered. Can't wait to see her face. She's such a cow lol. Jason, take a video if you can. I want to see it." Emma, obviously. This is going to be gold. I stared at those messages for I don't know how long, reading them over and over, trying to make them say something different. But they didn't. They said exactly what they said. Emma and Jason had planned this together. The pig shirt, the public humiliation, the gaslighting afterward. All of it. My best friend. The person I'd trusted most in the world. The person who'd held me while I cried over Jason. Who'd promised me we'd get through this together. Who'd told me she'd always have my back. She'd been sleeping with him the whole time. I kept reading. I went back further in their messages. Months and months of conversations. And that's when I found out the truth. The dare, the bet, the whole year-long thing where Jason pretended to love me. It hadn't been Jason's idea. It had been Emma's. I found the messages from 2 years ago, before Jason and I had even met. Emma to Jason, "Okay, hear me out. You know my friend Chloe, the fat one. Jason, the designer. Emma, yeah. She's been so annoying lately. She got promoted at work and she won't shut up about it. And she's been getting so confident. It's gross. I need her taken down a few notches. Jason, okay. Emma, you should ask her out. Like, seriously date her. Make her think you're in love with her. Then dump her publicly. It would destroy her. And it would be hilarious. Jason, that's dark even for me, lol. Emma, come on, it'll be fun. Plus, you know the guys would pay to see it. You could make it a bet." Jason? How much are we talking? Emma, at least 20K. Probably more if you can keep it going for a while. And I'll throw in 5K myself. Jason, you'd pay to watch your own friend get humiliated? Emma, she's not really my friend. She's just there. She follows me around like a puppy. It's pathetic. This would be doing her a favor, honestly. Maybe she'd finally work on herself. Jason, when do I meet her? I had to put the iPad down. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. The room was spinning. Emma hadn't just known about the dare. She'd orchestrated it. She'd paid for it. She'd suggested it in the first place. Every tear I'd cried on her shoulder, she'd been laughing inside. Every time she'd told me I deserved better, she'd been planning the next way to hurt me. Every time she'd called Jason names and acted like she was protecting me, she'd been sleeping with him. The entire year I'd spent with Jason, Emma had been getting updates. I found messages where he'd send her photos of me. Photos I didn't know he was taking. Me sleeping. Me eating. Me just existing. And Emma would respond with laughing emojis, with pig emojis, with comments about my weight, my clothes, my hair, my everything. She'd known about the podcast. She'd known about the plan to reveal everything on stage. She'd probably been in the audience that night, watching, waiting for me to fall apart. And when I'd flipped the script instead, when I'd exposed Jason first and taken control of the narrative, she must have been furious. So she'd pivoted. She'd played the supportive best friend. She'd gotten close again. She'd waited for her next opportunity. And she'd found it with the pig shirt. I found more messages. From the days after the podcast incident, after I'd publicly called out Jason, Emma to Jason, that bitch, she ruined everything. You were supposed to break her. Jason, I know. I'm so pissed. She made me look like an idiot. Emma, we need to finish what we started. We need to break her for real this time. Jason, how? She won't even talk to me. She blocked me everywhere. Emma, leave it to me. I'll get close to her again. She trusts me. We'll find another way. They had spent months planning this. The pig shirt was just the beginning. I scrolled forward and found more plans. More ideas for how to humiliate me, how to destroy me. Emma had suggested inviting me to Christmas specifically so she could give me the pig shirt in front of people. She'd handpicked the guest list. People who might laugh. People who wouldn't defend me too hard. Jason had been there the whole night, hiding in Emma's bedroom, watching through security cameras she'd set up. They'd live-streamed my humiliation to each other. I found a video file, dated Christmas Eve. The timestamp showed it was from when I was in the bathroom crying. I clicked on it, even though I didn't want to. It was footage from a camera in Emma's hallway, pointed at the bathroom door. I could hear myself sobbing through the door. And I could hear two people laughing, Emma and Jason. Standing just out of frame, Emma was whispering, "Oh my God, she's losing it. This is even better than I thought." Jason, "You think she'll leave?" Emma, "No, she'll come back out. She always does. She's too pathetic to make a scene." Jason, "God, you're evil. It's so hot." And then the sound of them kissing. I watched myself open the bathroom door, watched Emma go inside, listened to her berate me, watched myself apologize. The video ended with Emma coming back out, giving Jason a thumbs up and mouthing, "Too easy." I don't remember what I did next. I think I just sat there for hours, staring at nothing, trying to process the fact that my entire life for the past 2 years had been a lie. Jason had never loved me. I'd known that. But Emma was supposed to be real. Emma was supposed to be the one person who actually cared. But she didn't. She never had. I was a project to her, a joke, something to mock and humiliate for her own entertainment. And the worst part? I'd made it so easy. I'd trusted her completely. I'd told her everything. Every insecurity, every fear, every vulnerability. And she'd weaponized all of it. She'd known exactly how to hurt me because I'd given her the manual. The next few days were a blur. I went through the motions. I answered Emma's texts. Short responses, enough to seem normal. She was acting like nothing had happened, inviting me to New Year's Eve at her place. Another party, telling me to bring a date if I wanted, being so casual and friendly. I said I'd come, because I had a plan. I spent the days between Christmas and New Year's preparing. I made copies of everything on Jason's iPad. I compiled the worst messages, the cruelest photos, the videos, all of it. I backed it up in multiple places. I wasn't going to let them destroy the evidence. I bought a new outfit, something that made me feel powerful, not for them, for me. I bought a gift box, pretty wrapping, a bow, the works. And on New Year's Eve, I went to Emma's party. I arrived exactly on time. Emma answered the door with a huge smile, acting like we were the best of friends, like she hadn't spent 2 years systematically destroying my life. She hugged me, told me I looked great, asked what was in the pretty gift box. I told her it was a surprise. The party was bigger than Christmas Eve. More people, more drinks, more noise. And sitting on Emma's couch, drink in hand like he owned the place, was Jason. When I walked in and saw him, I didn't react. I'd known he'd be there. Emma probably thought it would shake me, thought I'd leave or cause a scene or break down. Instead, I smiled at him, waved, walked right past him to put my coat away. I could feel them both watching me, confused, waiting for the breakdown that didn't come. I mingled. I made small talk. I acted completely normal. Emma kept giving me these looks, like she couldn't figure out what I was doing. Jason looked nervous. Good. About an hour into the party, I clinked my glass, asked for everyone's attention. Emma looked thrilled. She probably thought I was going to make some speech about new beginnings, or fresh starts, or something inspirational that she could mock later. Instead, I called her and Jason to the front of the room. I said I had a special gift for both of them, to thank them for everything they'd done for me this year. They came forward. Jason was trying to look casual, but I could see the panic in his eyes. Emma was playing it up, acting excited, asking what it was. I handed her the gift box. She opened it slowly, building the suspense. Expecting? I don't know what she was expecting. Maybe something embarrassing. Maybe another pig shirt. Maybe nothing. Instead, she pulled out Jason's iPad. She looked at it, looked at me, looked at Jason. And then the TV in Emma's living room lit up. I'd spent the morning figuring out how to AirPlay from the iPad to her smart TV. It was easier than I thought it would be. The screen showed text messages. The first one's from 2 years ago. Emma and Jason plotting the dare, planning my humiliation, discussing how much money they could make. The room went silent. I started talking. My voice was calm, steady, nothing like the crying broken girl from Christmas Eve. I said, I want to thank Emma for being such an amazing friend. She's been so supportive through everything. She held me while I cried over Jason. She told me I deserved better. She promised me I'd get through this. I clicked to the next screen. Messages from after the podcast incident. Emma and Jason planning their next move, deciding on the pig shirt. I continued, and I want to thank Emma for the lovely Christmas gift. The pig shirt. She said it was an inside joke. She was right. It was a joke. I just wasn't in on it. Emma was standing frozen. Her face was white. Jason had started moving toward the TV like he could somehow stop it. I clicked again. Photos of Emma and Jason together. Some tasteful, some very much not. I said, I also want to thank both of them for this beautiful relationship they've built. 2 years of sneaking around. 2 years of laughing at me behind my back. 2 years of planning increasingly creative ways to destroy me. People in the room were starting to react. Gasps. Whispers. Sarah was crying. David looked like he wanted to punch someone. I clicked again. The video from Christmas Eve. The sound of me crying. The sound of them laughing. Their conversation in the hallway. All of it playing on that big screen for everyone to see. Emma finally found her voice. She said, Chloe, you're taking this out of context. This isn't what it looks like. I laughed, actually laughed. It felt good. I said, which part am I taking out of context, Emma? The part where you came up with the dare? The part where you paid Jason to date me? The part where you called me a cow? The part where you watched me cry through a security camera and called it entertainment? Which part exactly am I misunderstanding? She had no answer. Jason tried a different approach. He said it was all a joke that got out of hand, that they never meant to hurt me, that they actually cared about me. I pulled up more messages. Messages where they discussed what they'd do with the bet money, how they'd celebrate when I finally broke completely, how they were running out of ideas and might need to get more creative. I said, you didn't want to hurt me? You spent 2 years of your lives dedicated to hurting me. You made it a project, a hobby. You got off on it. I looked around the room, at all the faces staring at the screen, at Emma's other friends seeing who she really was, at people I'd known for years realizing they'd been friends with a monster. I said, I wore the pig shirt, Emma. You and Jason wanted me to feel disgusting, to feel less than human, to internalize the idea that I'm just a joke, a thing to be mocked. I pulled the pig shirt out of my bag. I'd brought it with me. I held it up for everyone to see. I said, but looking at this shirt now, looking at you two, I realize the only disgusting things in this room are your souls. You're hollow. You're cruel. You get your validation from destroying other people because you have nothing real inside yourselves. Emma started crying. Actual tears. She was saying she was sorry, that she didn't know why she did it, that she was messed up, that she needed help. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. But then I remembered every lie, every fake hug, every time she held me while I cried over the thing she'd orchestrated. I said, "You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference." I picked up the iPad, turned off the AirPlay. The room stayed silent. I said, "I spent Christmas Day crying over a pig shirt, wondering what I did wrong, wondering why my best friend would hurt me like that, wondering if maybe you were right, if maybe I was too sensitive, too dramatic, too much." I put the iPad back in the gift box. I said, "But I'm not too much. I'm not too sensitive. I'm not too anything. I'm a person who deserved basic human decency from the people I loved. And you couldn't even give me that." I looked at Jason. I said, "You're pathetic. You spent a year of your life pretending to love someone for money and approval. You wasted your own time, your own life. For what? So some frat guys would think you're cool? So you could win a bet? You're almost 30 years old and you're still trying to impress people who don't even respect you." Then I looked at Emma. I said, "And you were supposed to be my sister, my person, the one who knew me better than anyone. And you used all of that knowledge to hurt me as efficiently as possible. You didn't just betray me. You studied me so you could betray me better." She was full-on sobbing now, trying to reach for me, saying my name over and over. I stepped back. I said, "Don't touch me. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't try to explain or apologize or justify any of this. We're done. We're not friends. We're not anything. You're just two people I used to know who turned out to be garbage." I grabbed my coat. I said, "Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you all find better friends than I did." And I walked out. The cold air hit my face, and I realized I was shaking. Not from fear or sadness, from adrenaline, from relief, from the weight of finally letting go. I got in my car and sat there for a minute. I could hear people leaving the party already. The fallout had started. My phone started blowing up. Sarah, David, other people from the party, people apologizing for not seeing it. People asking if I was okay. People saying they had no idea. I turned my phone off. I drove home in silence. No music, no podcasts, just the sound of my own breathing, the sound of myself existing without them. When I got home, I took out the pig shirt one more time. I looked at it, really looked at it. This stupid, cruel thing that was supposed to break me. I got my scissors, the good fabric ones I use for design work, and I cut that shirt into tiny pieces. I cut it until my hands hurt, until there was nothing left but scraps of pink fabric and bits of that smiling pig face. And then I threw it all away. I made myself tea. I sat on my couch, and I cried. But this time, I wasn't crying because I was broken. I was crying because I was free. I'd lost a best friend, someone I'd known for years, someone I'd trusted with everything. That kind of betrayal, it doesn't just go away. It changes you. It makes you question every friendship, every relationship, every moment of vulnerability. But I'd also gained something. I gained the knowledge that I'm stronger than they thought, that I'm not the weak, desperate, pathetic girl they'd convinced me I was, that I could take everything they threw at me and still walk away with my head up. I gained the ability to spot fake people, to trust my instincts instead of ignoring red flags because I'm afraid of being alone. I gained the understanding that I'd rather be alone than surrounded by people who don't actually like me. And maybe most importantly, I gained the certainty that I deserve real love, real friendship, real loyalty, not performance, not pretending, not people who keep me around as a punching bag or a punchline. I don't know what happened to Emma and Jason after that night. I blocked them both. I blocked their numbers, their social media, everything. I heard through mutual friends that they tried to do damage control, that they told people I'd edited the messages or taken things out of context or was having some kind of breakdown, but the people who mattered didn't believe them. The people who saw the truth stood by me, and the people who didn't, well, I didn't need them anyway. It's been a few months now. I'm in therapy. Real therapy this time, not just crying on the couch of someone who's secretly laughing at me. I'm working through the trust issues, the betrayal, the years of emotional abuse that I didn't even realize was happening. I'm learning to recognize real friendship, real kindness, real support. And I'm learning that I'm allowed to walk away from people who hurt me, even if they're supposed to love me. I still have bad days, days where I wonder if everyone I know is secretly mocking me, days where I question every compliment, days where I feel like that girl holding a pig shirt, crying in front of people who should have protected me. But I also have good days now, days where I remember that I stood up for myself, days where I'm proud of how I handled it, days where I realize that their cruelty says everything about them and nothing about me. I'm rebuilding my life. Slowly, carefully. I'm making new friends, real ones this time. People who actually like me, who don't keep me around as a project or a joke. I'm dating again. Kind of. Nothing serious yet. But I'm learning to trust people again. To believe that someone could actually want me without it being a dare or a bet or a cruel prank. And I'm learning to like myself again. To look in the mirror and see someone worthy of love instead of someone lucky to receive it. I spent Christmas crying over a pig shirt. A cheap, cruel joke meant to remind me that I'm not good enough. That I'm less than. That I'm just a body to be mocked. But I'm starting the new year having shed 300 pounds of dead weight. My ex-boyfriend, who never loved me. My best friend who never liked me. And all the lies I'd told myself about deserving their treatment. So if you're watching this, and you've been where I was, if you have a friend who makes you feel small, if you're in a relationship where you feel grateful instead of valued, if you're accepting cruelty disguised as jokes, please, please trust your instincts. Please believe that you deserve better. Please know that being alone is better than being with people who make you feel alone anyway. You're not too sensitive. You're not too much. You're not lucky to be chosen. You're a whole person who deserves real love, real friendship, real respect. And anyone who can't give you that doesn't deserve to be in your life. I learned that the hard way. But I learned it. And now I'm free.